The Nebraska quarterback battle is heating up in Husker spring practice, not necessarily to find out who the starter is going to be, but who Nebraska's backup quarterback will be. There are two big names duking it out, but it's not just them. There is a true freshman who has been lighting it up so far in spring practice. So in today's video, I'm going to give you an update on the quarterback room in total, how everybody's performing, who the backup quarterback is going to be, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you an update on Rhule, how he's doing, potential struggles, and so much more. So really quick, jam-packed Nebraska spring practice update. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And also, hey, if you support what I'm doing here, daily Husker football content, spring practice updates just like this. It takes 2 seconds and it really helps me out. Please hit that subscribe button. Once again, for spring practice updates just like this, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it. Going over this big time update, talking about Nebraska's quarterback battle, the spot for quarterback number 2. We'll talk about how these guys are performing, Gramstad, Marcos Davila, and even TJ Lateef. And at the end of the video, we're going to have a conversation about Rhule, how he's done over the past couple of days, and what his outlook will be for the rest of Nebraska spring practice. So let's get things started with arguably the favorite to be Nebraska's quarterback 2. This is Gramstad. And before I talk about Gramstad's play, why is this even important? Why are we talking about who the backup quarterback is going to be? Because we know Dillon's going to be the guy. Well, let's just go back to recent Nebraska football history. There's not many times where the entire season is played by only one quarterback for the Huskers. Now, we got lucky last year. Raiola played in all 12 games, but you go back to the Adrian Martinez era, the Casey Thompson era. You go back to Jeff Sims, Heinrich Hoiberg, Chubba Purdy in 2023. Almost every single year for Nebraska in the past decade, the Huskers have went into their depth in the quarterback room, going to quarterback 2, quarterback 3, even quarterback 4s. So it's important for Nebraska to figure out who their quarterback 2 is going to be, because there's a real possibility that they're going to start as the year progresses. So first things first, Gramstad is the favorite right now to be Nebraska's quarterback 2. Matt Rhule talked about him the other day and said that Jalen's playing well, that you know they wanted him back going into his extra super senior year just because of the leadership element, because he really jives with Rhule. He's constantly trying to teach Dylan some new things. The early returns have been that Gramstad's been really, really good so far through spring ball. That he's taken a new step, that he's continued to be a leader. That they really like Gramstad's playmaking ability. He's not necessarily a game manager backup. He's a guy who can get outside the pocket. He reminds me a little bit of a Russell Wilson. He's undersized. He's 6 foot tall, so he's pretty short for the position. But again, he can make plays outside the pocket. He's kind of a dual threat, and he's a guy who's a straight winner. He knows how to make plays. He doesn't necessarily impress you with his arm strength. He doesn't really have a good arm strength. His accuracy isn't pinpoint, but he's just a gamer, man. And he's a winner. And that's something that we've already heard out of spring practice, that he's just making plays out there. And he's continuing to kind of be a coach on the sideline for the Huskers, continue to teach Rhule the ropes. So you like what you're hearing so far from Gramstad, but it's not been good enough to lock in this position that he's going to be quarterback 2. Let's get into Marcos Davila, because man, oh man, we have already heard some big things about how he's been performing. You guys already know how I feel about Marcos Davila. Kind of reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. And I know that's cliche because we compare Rhule to Patrick Mahomes all the time, but you watch his high school film. I reacted to his film not too long ago on the channel. I mean, he's throwing these sidearm throws. He has a bullet arm. He can throw 70 yards down the field. He's a little bit dual threat. He can get outside the pocket. He's built like Mahomes, kind of a bigger built quarterback. He's super strong. He has really good accuracy. He's smart. Marcos Davila, we've heard some great things about him in spring ball, that he's a lot more developed than Matt Rhule thought he was going to be. Matt Rhule said that he didn't really want to take Marcos Davila because he wasn't watching, his college film, because he didn't have any college film. He only had high school film. But Dana Holgorsen really wanted Marcos Davila. And it was kind of a wild card. Like, we didn't know what we were going to get going into spring ball. Marcos Davila's shining, man. There's a couple of plays where, he's dotting up guys down the field for big conversions. He's already shown off that arm strength. He's shown off that playmaking ability. He's a lot better than I think a lot of us expect him to be. And it's going to be very hard at the end of spring ball for Nebraska not to pencil him as quarterback 2 from what you've already heard. Because his ability to extend the field, to make these accurate throws that Gramstad can't make, with his progressions, I think he's continuing to be a smart quarterback. And he's coming to Nebraska with that right mindset. Clearly, he's trying to start. Okay, he's not going to just be okay with being a backup. Like, he's going to push Rhule, and that's for the best. So we've already heard some really, really good things about Marcos Davila. Man, he has been impressing so far. I wish we had a traditional spring game because this is somebody who I really want to see. And we're still going to see him probably in that 7-on-7 Husker game thing, but this is somebody who I'm going to continue to hear nuggets about, and I'll share with you what's going on there. But, man, I really would have liked to see him in the spring game because I think he would have balled out, but we've already heard some good things about him. I'm excited to see how he continues to progress through that spring ball. But, again, it's just his ability to extend the field and, the fact that he's playing a lot better than even what the staff expected. Really, really feel good about Marcus Davila's odds to be our quarterback, too. And then even TJ Lateef, man, has really impressed so far during spring ball. Again, he's just another guy who's a winner. He's a winner. He can make plays outside the pocket. He's incredibly dual threat, just like Jalen Gramstad. TJ Lateef does not expect to redshirt. He expects to play in 4 games. Well, he's probably going to redshirt, but he expects to play. I'll put it that way. And I think TJ Lateef, he's continuing to develop. Like, he's not been perfect so far in spring ball from what we've heard. He's not been perfect. So take that for what it's worth. He's not going to be perfect, but he's continuing to learn the playbook at a high level. The freshmen really, really like him. Like he's already built a lot of good connections on the team. The chemistry is there with some of these younger receivers like a Cortez Mills, like an Isaiah Mosey. I just think if TJ, going into the summer, if he continues to develop on the rate he's on, like it's going to be hard for them not to play him in 4 games. Especially if, potentially there's injuries in that room. Because TJ Lateef, he can get outside the pocket. He fits his Holgerson offense. Really, really like his game and what we've been hearing so far during spring ball. So like TJ Lateef a lot. And then let's talk about Dylan. How has Dylan been doing so far? In the brief couple days we've had spring practice, of course, we got things going on Monday. I really like what we're hearing from a Dylan Rhule weight standpoint. He's continuing to lose a little bit of weight. It's not a finished product there. Okay, he looks a little trimmer than usual, but he's still going to lose weight, continue to put on good muscle. It's cutting season for Dylan, getting ready for the summer. Dylan Rhule, from early returns, his accuracy has been widely improved. That's why I've heard time and time again, the deep ball accuracy, the bullet accuracy over the middle, and that's something that's music to my ears because that's something that I needed to see from Dylan. But the accuracy was not very good in year 1. We've already heard some good things about him from an accuracy standpoint that overall, like these deep ball throws, he's going to complete them this year. I know these throws over the middle, he's going to throw those, into tight windows with more precision. Progressions obviously probably continue to be developed. We haven't really heard too many nuggets about that. Obviously, it's hard to tell in spring ball, the progressions. But again, the accuracy, we've been hearing some good things about him. He looks the part. Been hearing that he's been able to make some plays off script as well, get outside the pocket at a high rate. So, again, Dylan Rhule, obviously, we're going to keep an eye on him, how he's performing, but like the early returns, and again, just got to continue to develop, lose some weight there, maybe, practice getting outside the pocket more because I think that can really unlock him and be a better quarterback to really take his game to the next level. You can get up to the pocket, make plays off script. But hearing some good things about Dylan, he's quarterback 1, no question about it. There is no battle there. But Marcus Davila, man, really, really impressed. TJ Lateef, we'll see what happens there, but Jalen Graham's holding it down. And then I guess you got Luke Longville there in that quarterback room. Been hearing he's been, whatever. He'll be here. He's not going to get cut. So I know I got some questions about that. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. The quarterback room, the battle's going on for the Big Red. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far on the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, Big Red, go on, Rhule. See you in the next one.